Okay.
Are we on?
Yep, you're on.
Are we on?
Good morning. Wow, good morning. I have to remember 2 divisions because I'm going to forget.
Right.
Wow, good morning, everyone. So we'll start off by saying hello to all the divisions. So should we decline them for being late?
Yes, ignore.
Ignore. All right, so we'll start off in San Diego. Good morning, San Diego.
They're waiting.
They're waving. And then, of course, here's LA. You can't see them, but we have a room full here. So good morning, everyone in LA. And Fresno. Good morning, Fresno.
Morning.
Morning. Morning.
And Sacramento. Good morning.
Good morning.
I think this is my favorite part.
Yeah.
We get to see everyone. Good morning, Portland.
Good morning. Vince, we have some new people. Do you want to do the introductions?
Absolutely.
Okay, great. Let's see. Chloe, why don't you go first?
Hi, I'm Chloe. I'm the new expediter.
Welcome, Chloe.
Where are we?
Trask Johnson, the new DCR, been here a couple months.
Here, stand up so they can see you.
Stand up, please, so we can see you. Hi. How we doing?
DCR in Portland. Glad to be here.
Okay.
San Diego has 2 new people.
Did
San
any of
Diego
the
has 2 new
division? Did
people.
I miss any of the divisions, Sacramento or Fresno, with new hires?
Yes.
San Diego.
I'm sorry, Sacramento. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Sacramento.
Hi, everybody. My name is Mark. I'm new in the merchandising department here.
Stand up. Signal.
There you go. And we missed someone in San Diego. I'm sorry.
San Diego.
I'm Kelly.
Good morning, Sacramento.
Yep.
I'm the new DCR, John Kuklas. Good morning.
Hey, John.
Hi.
And Vince, we also have one in Phoenix too. She just started literally an hour ago. So.
Stand up. Stand up. Thank you.
Good morning.
We have one in Fresno as well.
We have one in Fresno.
And we missed someone in Fresno.
Steve Myastis. I'm in Fresno location. And I've been here for Bakersfield location. And been here, it's my second week.
Booster seats right here, otherwise that'd be a little bit taller. Oh, you don't have the one with the little,
Hey, Vince, we got 2 in San
We got all
Diego.
the new people.
And San Diego.
Stand up.
I'm Kelly. I'm the new DCR.
Hi, great.
Welcome, Kelly.
I've heard a lot about you.
My name is Andrew Johnson. I'm your new CRM for San Diego.
Welcome. All right, I think we got caught up. So,
Anybody here new?
well, yeah, and then we missed LA.
Yeah.
Yes.
Come on up, and the whole screen can see you.
Behind them.
Give me your name. Come on.
Hi, I'm Edwin, new sales rep here, LA.
Welcome.
How about this young lady?
Hi, Tina, new expediter.
Great.
Hi, I'm Spencer. I'm not even in it. I'm Spencer. I'm a new sales rep in LA.
Talk about growth.
Vince, Boise.
And Boise.
Where's Boise?
We hadn't got there
We
yet.
have some new
Welcome,
people in
Boise.
Boise as well. We have some new people.
Okay, stand them up.
Hi, I'm Paul. I'm a new CRM.
Good.
Hey everybody, I'm Rod, new CRM.
Great.
I'm Tyler, I'm the DCR.
Great.
Welcome.
That's our new operation, everybody, and we're thrilled to have you.
Absolutely.
Great.
Thank you.
So now we'll go to Las Vegas. Good morning, Las Vegas.
Good morning.
Good morning. And Reno. Good morning, Reno.
We've said hi.
Good morning, everyone.
Not Torito.
No?
I'm back on track.
Oh, you're right.
And Salt Lake. Good morning, Salt Lake.
Good morning.
Good morning.
We have 2 new CRMs.
Hi, I'm Brian. I'm a new CRM.
Good, good,
And I'm Greg, new CRM.
good.
Welcome. All right.
That's
And
my hometown, let's face it.
that's right. We should start with them. Good morning, Houston.
Good
morning.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Good morning. And they have a new hire on the way, but not yet.
Okay.
And good morning, North Carolina.
Hi, good afternoon.
There they are.
We have 3 new CRMs.
I'm Brad, new
Good
CRM.
afternoon, huh? Yeah, hi.
Good afternoon. Colin, new CRM.
Good,
Good
great,
afternoon.
Wesley, new CRM.
good.
All right. Wow. The recruiters need to be in here and see all their
Yeah.
hard work.
Right.
Did we get everyone? I think we got everyone. Yeah, okay. All right. Wow. Well, that took some time.
Yeah. Okay, we're done. Thanks.
So I think we're going to start off. There's a few questions that the divisions had for you. I know this is your favorite part.
Yeah. Sure.
So I think Lauren had a question. Is Lauren in Portland?
You have to stand up, Lauren.
Okay. Hi, Mr. Wilson. I have a question. Where's your favorite vacation spot?
My favorite vacation spot. I guess, what, being away from Ernest?
Yes, you actually have to leave.
Not quite. You know, there are so many wonderful spots. I love the Pacific Coast. There's so many things to see here. And I always like the national parks. I love that, like going up in the high Sierras. So I really don't have, and I loved going to Europe. I love traveling. And I've been in the Far East a lot. So, you know, we're in a wonderful world with so many incredible opportunities to see people from around the world and listen to them and watch them. And you know, we're all alike, which is a funny thing. The more you see, the more you realize we're all alike. And so I don't have a favorite spot, honestly. Just getting away is nice to get your mind off of things and just see and listen. That's what I like.
Were you a camper? Did you ever camp? Like in a
Yeah,
tent?
sure. I took horses up in the high Sierras, and when I was young, and when I was in college, we went up the high, you know, we hiked up. You can't forget the lakes up there. In those days, you could fish and eat your fish, and it was wonderful. So we loved that. Yeah.
You were a horseman, right? Didn't you ride
Yeah,
horses?
when I could afford it later, we'd ride. My wife and I used to ride horses every time we'd go out to those camps. I loved horseback riding, but you know, it was I loved it. That's all. I wasn't that good, but I loved it.
There were 2 other questions, but I'm not sure if we had. Did anyone else have a question? There was one that came in. I forget who asked it, but I'll just tee it up to you. What did you want to be as a kid?
That's just yesterday.
See, what did I want to be as a kid? Well, I'll tell you a very funny story. This is funny. My father died when I was very young, and my mother would take me around. I was in kindergarten at the time, and we'd go around to all of the creditors' meetings because it was 1930, the height of the Depression, and we'd lost everything. And so we'd go to all these meetings. And so that question was asked me by a gentleman. And he said, what do you want to be when you grow up? And I looked around, see these guys, and says, I want to be a creditor. I'm about to die. But I don't want to be a creditor anymore. So fortunately, but that was my story.
I want to be a creditor.
Well, I was a little backwards as a kid. Well, listen, I am the only person here who flunked the first grade. I actually was held back a year in school because we were out. My mother was taking me every day. I must have attended school maybe 25% of the time. So I had to take an extra first grade. Now, you tell me, has anybody flunked the first grade?
I like your story how when you'd go to school in Salt Lake,
yeah,
and then when you would come to California, they would promote you a grade.
Right.
Then you'd go back and they'd
put me back and I'd be behind.
And you got to take a nap when you.
I like Salt Lake.
And then in California, you would take a nap. So
no, I couldn't believe it. In Salt Lake, they didn't have beds for young kids to sleep on in first and second grade. We'd come out here and they had an hour sleeping. Yeah. I thought I was going to school.
You were taking a nap.
That's the way it was.
Teachers nap.
So we talked a lot. So as a company, we had our health check survey, and communication was a really big topic for Earnest. And so that is our biggest focus this year is communication. We're all about communication and becoming better at it and more effective at it. And so Mr. Wilson and I were talking, and throughout your career, communication really has been key, at least to your success as an attorney, negotiating mergers, acquisitions. You've taken a company public. You've represented so many different people, global, as an attorney. And so I thought it would be really good to hear Mr. Wilson's thoughts on communication. And so one of the things we talked about is what is the most important key to communication?
Well, I think if you read any of the texts or if you're trying to be a good communicator, the most important thing, seriously, is you've got to be a good listener. You've got to spend your time listening. The most important thing is when you go into a situation, you want to determine what's on the other person's mind. What are they really after, and what are you after, and what's the possibility of arriving at something that you both want? There is no good deal unless it's truly a win-win situation. If you're going to go in and negotiate and try to take advantage of somebody, you're kidding yourself, because in the long term, it'll come back to haunt you. It won't be something permanent. But if you can analyze what the other person wants, try to see if your situation is such that you can arrive at something that both of you could live with and both be win-wins and both walk away from there thinking we did something that accomplished something, then you've got a good negotiation. But the most important thing is constantly communication. The way you grow a business is you try to listen. And I've spent my lifetime trying to listen. And I think that it has been very helpful. If whether you're a salesman, whether you're a buyer, listen to what they're telling you. It's very interesting if you really listen. What do they really have on their mind? They'll say words, but that words don't always mean what they say. But if you listen to the whole pattern, pretty soon you'll know. Like if you're out selling, and you hear this, well, we don't need anything, and maybe that you've got an opening. Follow? There's something that's to be said there. I was with we had a partnership originally, one of the deals where for Ernest, we would buy. I was the head of a little company that was it was owned by Ernest, of course, and my brother, but it was a separate little company. And we would negotiate with the mills directly, because we not only sold to Ernest, we sold to other brokers. And it was very interesting what you could hear and what they would do when you listened. And I learned a lot from this gentleman who told me, you just listen. And when you listen and you think it through, you can come out. When they say no, no doesn't mean no. It means maybe. And if they say maybe, you've got a sale. But you've got to do it nicely. You've got to do it well. You've got to feel that you are able to do something that they need. You can help them with it, and you can give them a decent price, and so that the one sale doesn't mean anything unless you've got a continuity there. So that's what I'm talking about.
When you were involved with two different parties and maybe they didn't see eye to eye, how did you bring those two together? Because a lot of times in a lot of the deals that you were a part of, you were able to avoid litigation. So you were able to get both sides to agree without having to lengthen it out. How did you do that?
I had the biggest bat, I think.
That helps.
Well, you know, there is no answer. The answer is, do the parties really want to make a deal? And sometimes it isn't the right time. It isn't you've got to listen. What is happening? What's really going on in the other person's mind? What's going on in your mind? Do you really want to make a deal? Maybe you don't. But it's interesting sometimes you're there just to find out what's going on. You're not there to make a deal. You're trying to find out what's going on. So you've got to feel, what is the problem? What are you trying to accomplish? And after you figure that in your own mind, then you can approach, how do you arrive at a solution? And then you've got to come up with a solution. And sometimes you win and sometimes you don't. Most of the times you do, though, when you know what you want and you know you can help this person and you know that it's good for both of you.
So you would listen to both sides. You'd have all your information, and we talked about how you would prepare for meetings. So you're going to go into a meeting with one side or both sides. How did you prepare for those meetings?
Well, first place, you try to get as much information as possible. I mean, you can't go into a meeting and say, well, let's negotiate. Now, what do you do? Well, you know, we don't sell cars. You know? So, you know, that's the preparatory is, being prepared is always better. Even before you take a test in school, you should get prepared. Did you know that? That's good.
And so not only did you as a person, you were mentored in how to listen and communicate, but then you got together with Dr. Gunther Klaus and you created that program.
Well, we had a company called the Institute for Advanced Planning where we used to teach, and so it was a lecturing program and give them classes on business and how to increase and do their business. Dr. Klaus was at UCLA NSC, and he was a worldwide speaker. Then, unfortunately, he died in his, I guess he was about 55 or 60. So, he was a very interesting guy. He got his doctorate in Germany, but he came over here. Very well, you know, very interesting. Someday I'll tell you the story, but not today. But anyway, he really was the best lecturer I ever heard. He would get people just really interested in their businesses, how to improve their businesses. And then I would lecture on the legalities, the business aspects of that, particularly the finance. And I would do that part of the time, but I was there to get his business going, because he was teaching and professor. I said, why don't you go into business together? And he said, well, why don't you join me? And I said, well, I'm in business already. He said, no, but you just joined me. So he was the president, I was the chairman of the board, and we did some very nice lecturing. I've got some of his materials here, just terrific. So, but doing all that, you learn. When you're teaching, you learn more because you have to prepare. And so you learn more than you'd be surprised. I think it helped me be a much better business person, because the more you know what you don't know, then you get to be better. And the one thing about it is we all know so little.
You said that on your birthday when you turned 91. You said, the one thing I know is I know very little.
Yeah.
I threw my hands up and walked away.
Yeah, that's right.
I don't have a shot.
Well, when I get to another birthday.
That's right. So communication, we see, I mean, there's so many new hires company-wide, and communication is so important. So that what I'm hearing you say is it's important to listen and prepare, which we talked about a little bit, which is the time that you have to invest to slow down sometimes. I know that I had a conversation this morning with someone where I was guilty of moving too fast, and then that can cause stress on a situation. So it's important to, and I've learned from you, to slow down sometimes so that you're listening, you're taking everyone into account before moving too fast.
Well, that's the biggest problem with a person wanting to sell, and naturally we want to sell, but you keep talking, and while you talk right through the person, and they don't want to listen to too much. Selling is the less you can tell them. You listen, find out what they really want, and then you get into the subject. But if you spend all your time, you can sell right through it and sell right out of it.
And then it's the wrong thing.
That's the wrong thing. Like we have a person here, I took him to Hollywood Park with me, terrific guy, very knowledgeable, everything else. So I took him to meet the people to sell, I guess.
The racetrack, Hollywood Park?
Yeah, at that time. And let's see, what was it? Not the toilet paper, what do you call it? The janitorial side. And we had a very big opportunity there. And I got him started, and he was going and showing them all these things, and he talked his way in, and we talked his way out. So we left there with no sale. But I was there, but that's the way it is. And I had the contact, and I could have, but that's the way it is. So, that's an example, a very good example of where listen what the other person wants to hear.
You've seen it work both ways.
Yeah, it works both ways. Oh, gee, I'm wasting my time.
You could only do so much.
You can only do so much. But and listen, turns out it was probably a good deal, because we shouldn't have had that
piece of business.
So it was. Sometimes it works out, but the fact is, it could have been a big piece of business, and good for him.
And then learning, right? Learning from all your experiences. We talked about that.
Well, the point is you learn, but you still make mistakes. Nobody's perfect, and you're always going to make mistakes, and you've got to understand the other person's going to make mistakes. You've got to realize that when you're working with people, they're people, and they are just like you. They're not perfect, and therefore give them a break. Now, on the other hand, if they keep doing the same things, then that's another story. But sometimes you can show somebody by their mistakes and make them a much better person. You can listen to what's happened, why did it happen, and why we shouldn't do this again. And that's why we as a company, all of us here, can always help our pals or anybody else, but you just don't go after them. You just say, what happened? Maybe we could do something better, whether it's your boss or whether it's whoever it is. because we can all help each other to do a better job. And then you have a lot of fun doing it because, geez, I've helped them and they like me, and that's nice because we're in this together, all of us. So that's the point. Listening is so important, and try to find out, why did this person do that? Was it just it happens? We all, if I can use the term, screw up sometimes, right?
So we started talking about, I went into this with you looking for the keys to communication, and then it was listening, not actually telling, but listening, and then preparing going forward.
Right.
So the last question for you, which you didn't want to answer, but I'm going to ask anyway, is your biggest negotiation ever, right? So as a kid, were you ever able to negotiate your way out of punishments?
Well, you got to realize, I've told you this before, that my mother could look at us. She was a big woman, very tall. I've told everybody this. She was almost 5 feet. She had these big black eyes, and at 30 paces, she could freeze you. And at 30 years old, I was still being frozen. So, you know, how could you talk your way out of punishment when she gave you one look and you were frozen? So I know I never could talk my way out of punishment.
That was it.
That was it. She gave me one look and, yes, Mom, do it. Kill me. You know, mothers are that way. They're amazing.
There's a strength there.
That's it.
All right, well, that's it for us today.
You're kidding, God
See
almighty.
that?
I
Painless.
just started.
Mr. Wilson wanted to do this twice a month, and I said,
Are you kidding?
We can't do that.
Twice a year.
You love the camera.
How about twice a decade?
As much as he loves the camera, it's once a month.
How about twice a decade?
It's not going to happen. We'll see you next month, everyone.
Thank you.
Have a really good day.
You
Thank
can
you.
unchain all the people that you dragged in there, okay?